What's up, everybody? Thank you for checking out the show. This podcast was filmed exclusively for odds.com. Make sure you click the link below. Go check out the full replay on odds.com as we break down UFC Fight Island 8. All right. Moving right along, we've got Dalcha Lungiambula taking on Markus Mulo. I can't remember what his fight name is. Dang it. The Joker, Perez. Dalcha Lungiambula is a guy that I am low-key a fan of. Maybe not so low-key because I've talked about betting him several times, but this is going to be his third opponent change in just a couple of weeks, and that's terrifying to me. So Dalcha Lungiambula, this dude fought at 205. He was way undersized, finally got his shit together. He's moving down to 185. I think that's where he belongs. He ended up having his opponent pull out. We didn't get to see him perform. I was planning on betting him there as a big, fat underdog. In fact, I had pulled the trigger on him not once, but twice, and then that fight fell apart both times due to COVID. But he looked phenomenal on the scales. That was something that I heard everybody talking about. Everybody being like, Dalcha, he's older, he's dropping a weight class, he's got so much muscle on him, where's he going to find the weight to lose? And you know what? Then he got on the scales, and he looked shredded. He looked fantastic. I think Dalcha belongs at 185, and I think the weight cut that he made, he looked even better than I would have expected. However, we didn't get to see him perform, and that's the big question. We know he's a judo black belt. We know he's explosive. We know he hits hard. We know he's got a good wrestling top game if he can get you down on bottom, and he's got some nasty ground and pound. So I understand every reason for liking Dalcha Lungiambula here, even though he's going to be the smaller man in the cage. He's one of those freak fighters that's short, stocky, and he's got the long arms. He's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage here. Markus Perez on the flip side of this thing, 12-4, a fighter that I'm really a fan of. First off, he's fun to watch. He's got a fun, entertaining style, and his Joker cosplay, second to none. We always got to talk about that. He comes out in full face makeup, and I fully enjoy watching this guy. Very entertaining, and he's always got a good attitude. And you all know, for me, positive vibes only. We're only looking for fun positivity, and that's, Markus Perez is that kind of a guy. So I've got a soft spot for him, even though he's had a rough run of it. He is 1-3 in his last 4, and he is 2-5 in his overall UFC run. So the dude's having a bit of a tough time. He seems to be sub or bust here in the UFC's octagon. Both of his wins have been by submission, and he's been ground out by everybody else. And then just recently, he got finished by Dricus Du Plessis. Now, that is a fight that I want to talk about because Markus Perez was doing everything well in that fight. And it wasn't until Dricus found the button. He binked him right behind the ear, and that put Markus Perez down. Markus Perez actually is pretty well known for his durability. That was the first knockout loss of his career. And I think he just got a little overexcited. I think he gave too much opportunity for his opponent. He was throwing too many spinning things. He was kind of feeling himself. He was taking over the fight. Like I said, he was winning it up until the point that he got clipped. So I think he just got a little overconfident, a little cocky, and he was coming off the Wellington Turman decision loss that he wanted to prove a point. He wanted to come out and shake that off and get that one put behind him, and he kind of overcompensated for that, left himself open, got binked in the worst spot possible. He got dropped, he got right back up. This wasn't a you're dead type of knockout. This isn't one where his eyes were rolled back. He got the button turned off because that's a bad spot to get hit. So I'm not entirely sold on the fact that he's got any durability issues or anything like that. The only question for me is, it was just in October. We always talk about, we like to see fighters take off 6 to 9 months after a bad knockout. He's turning around within 3. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. I think he's fighting to save his job here. And what's crazy is they opened this fight up, Dalcha Lungiambula, minus 350, folks. He opened at minus 350. Can you believe it? Rightfully so. Anybody who got in on that opener on Markus Perez, you have a damn good ticket in your pocket because this fight should be closer to a pick'em. And if you're rocking plus 255 on Markus Perez, you, my friend, I envy. I would love to have Markus Perez in my pocket at plus 250 on this particular fight. Markus Perez likes to walk his opponents down. He's got big kicks. He mixes them up well, legs, body, keeps his hands low, fires from the hip. He does seem to struggle a little bit with counter strikers, but he's got a really strong body lock, offensive BJJ, and he's got a nasty front choke game. Darce, guillotines, he jumps on the neck when you're not expecting it. He does seem, like I said, to be a little bit sub or bust, but dude's got an 80% takedown defense. 80%. So as much as I have been doing nothing but singing the praises of Dalcha Lungiambula, I got to pump the brakes here a little bit. I feel like Markus Perez is extremely live in this spot simply because of the way these guys match up. I was planning, and this is something I want to talk about. The numbers here are very, very important. Everybody's like, Clint, but you were going to bet Dalcha Lungiambula against a much, much better fighter. Yes, I was, but at 3-1. I was going to take Dalcha Lungiambula as a big underdog and take a shot for him to come through. He's fighting a much more reasonable caliber of competition here, a guy that he should relatively be a coin flip with, I believe. Markus Perez averages far more output than Dalcha Lungiambula does by almost a full significant strike. So he's going to be the more active fighter in there. He does get a little sloppy. He does leave some openings, and we know Dalcha has got that power. So there's an opportunity here for Dalcha to close that distance and get the knockout. However, most of Dalcha's knockouts have come from ground and pound. And even though Dalcha is a judo black belt, Perez is no slouch in the judo game. He's a high-level Brazilian jiu-jitsu player, and he's got 80% takedown defense. I am not convinced that Dalcha will be able to get this fight to the floor. And if he can't get this fight to the floor, we're going back to Fight Island, folks. We got to remember we're getting a whole new roster of judges. They're changing it around again. The first time we went to Fight Island, I was dialed in on exactly what the judges wanted. I knew exactly what style of fighter was going to do well, and that was volume. Anybody who was able to outpace their opponent was usually the one that got their hand raised in the end. Even if they took some big shots, the judges just seemed to value the power less. And until I get told otherwise by watching these Fight Island events, I'm going to assume that's probably still the same. So I've got a sneaky feeling that Markus Perez is going to weasel his way out a split decision victory here. I think Dalcha Lungiambula is going to look good in the first round. I think if he doesn't get Perez out of there early, I think Perez is going to take over and win rounds 2 and 3. This could end up being a split decision type of fight, and I want nothing to do with it. And I wouldn't even be shocked if Perez managed to lock up one of those front chokes if this thing got late and Dalcha was tired, because remember, Dalcha is a little bit older. He's not ancient by any means, but he's 35 years old, and he did make that weight cut just a couple of weeks ago. I think to prove a point, maybe to get paid his show money. Who knows exactly why he decided to go through with that full weight cut down to 185. But now, let me see. I want to check exactly when that was. Yeah, it was Carl Roberson. So I believe that was on December 19th. So less than a month ago. Less than a month ago, he went ahead and made that weight cut. And now he's going to have to do it again. So his first time making weight, looked good, got on the scale, did it, but he's going to flip around right again and do it again. That's a scary prospect. So I kind of want to wait and see how Dalcha looks on the scales for the second time around before I make any type of move here. Like I said, I feel like maybe Markus Perez can squeeze out a decision victory here. Both guys can finish, but I'm kind of expecting this one to go the distance. So that in mind, I do want to take a look at what we got for the total. They got it at 1.5? Are you kidding? Bro, this is a 1.5? I'm betting the over. I'm betting the over. Are you kidding me? Dude, Dalcha Lungiambula couldn't get Daquan Townsend out of the cage until the third round. Markus Perez got clipped behind the ear. Besides that, he went 15 minutes with Andrew Sanchez, Eric Anders, and Wellington Turman. It took him until the second round to get the subs on Fluffy Hernandez. He did get a first-round submission over James, but, like, Dalcha's not going to flatline this guy in the first round unless he's just completely broken from that fight. In fact, Dalcha goes to the third round regularly. He's been 5 before. Twice. Holy crap. Why is that a 1-round total? Over 1.5, folks. There you go. Right there on the spot. You got a fresh, hot read from your boy. Dalcha Lungiambula, Markus Perez, over 1.5, I think is probably the way to go. Catching up here with the chat. Yeah, I hope Drew is drunk.